from your parents. You get a genetic disease from your mom and dad. You can get hepatitis C or HIV through the birth canal. A baby can get it. All religions tend to focus on the vertical infection strategy. Some religions use that strategy exclusively. Judaism is largely a vertical infection strategy. There's a little religion in Lebanon called the Druze religion. It's situated right at the border of Lebanon, Syria, and Israel. The Druze are a split off of Islam. They're seen as heretics, and they're hated in many ways by the Muslims. But they closed their religion in the 1200s. You cannot become a Druze if you wanted to. And if a Druze leaves the community, they're gone forever. The only way you can catch the Druze religion is from your parents. It's a sexually transmitted disease. Amish, the same thing. You would have a very difficult time becoming an Amish. And they don't go out knocking on your doors. They don't drive their buggy up the street and hop out and knock on your door. So it's a very vertical infection strategy. So we can see that all religions use one or the other, or both. Catholicism right now, being a very old religion, is using primarily a vertical infection strategy in the United States, but in Africa, it's using a parasitic horizontal infection strategy. And it's going out telling people, don't use condoms, don't have sex, and don't use condoms. Okay, what's wrong with this picture? And as a result, people are catching HIV and dying. Uganda had one of the best HIV fighting programs in all of Africa until the Catholics and the Pentecostals came in, of course, two God viruses trying to take advantage, and they started telling and preaching, don't use condoms. Well, the HIV has gone back up. This is a great example. Many people who die of HIV do not die of HIV only. If they're infected, they die of pneumonia. They die of an opportunistic disease that comes into the body. Well, if you think about it, that's kind of what is going on with God virus. In Africa, the HIV is infecting someone, and the Catholic God virus is coming along and helping it. Two viruses cooperating. Now, this can happen in many different levels. You can have biological viruses or parasites or pathogens cooperating to hurt you. And the same thing can be true across these levels as well. The Catholic God virus is doing a great job of infecting people with HIV, and their story is become a Catholic or die. Pretty simple. And that's kind of the way they're going at it. So all religions. When do you get religion? When your rational immune system is immature. You're not old enough to be able to determine the rational, the reason. And you almost always get the disease, the religion, from your parents. There's very few people raised at 5, 6, 7 years old in a Christian home that suddenly realize Allah is the answer. They don't do that. You almost always get the infection from your parents. And so you're at that age, and this is key. People who are infected at 5 to 7 years old have got an insidious infection that's probably going to stay with them in some degree for the rest of their life. It's very difficult to get rid of it. It's like chicken pox. Once you get it, you never get rid of it. It stays in your system for the rest of your life. When else do you get religion? Well, you get it when you're under stress, when your rational immune system is weak, when you get colds, when you get sick, when you get the flu. Oftentimes when your immune system is already compromised. You're under a lot of stress at work. You've got a new baby at home. Something's going on that's causing a lot of stress. You tend to get ill at that time. Well, that's when you get Jesus, too. Think about it. Have you known somebody that got Jesus at 35 years old? And they didn't seem particularly religious before that? Well, we'll come back to that and talk about that in a minute. So, religion can hide from the immune system. Chickenpox hides from the immune system. You get chickenpox as a child, it looks like the kid on the left. But it stays in your system for the rest of your life. if you get under a lot of stress, some people, not everybody by a long shot, will express the chicken pox as shingles. That's what's on the right here, shingles. It's a very painful disease. And it only comes out, or generally only comes out, when somebody's under a lot of stress. So the virus is hiding in your system, and it comes out when you're under stress. I had a friend who got Jesus at 35 years old. Now this guy wasn't particularly religious until he went through a year of trauma when his father died of cancer. And at the end of the year, he got religion. I'd sit down and have a meal with him, and he'd Jesus this and Jesus that, and God led me here, and the Holy Spirit talked to me that. And you couldn't have a conversation with the guy for all this religious bullshit he had to constantly tell me about. It just ruined our friendship. I mean, after a couple months of that, I don't want to go out and have something anymore. And he doesn't want to listen to me saying, you know, prayer doesn't work. I don't think that was the Holy Spirit. That was your upset stomach that night. So it hides from the immune system. If you look at this kid, this guy, he's 35 years old, what was happening in his life when he was about 5 to 7 years old? He was getting infected with religion. He didn't get infected with Mormonism. He didn't get infected with Allah. He got infected with the religion he was most exposed to when he was 5 to 7 years old. It is incredibly unusual for somebody to get religion at an older age, get a religion at an older age that wasn't one that was in their immediate environment when they were growing up. It's very rare. In fact, it's so rare that it really makes headlines when a Christian converts to Islam or when a Muslim person converts to a Mormon. I mean, I don't think I've ever heard of that one. It's just really, really rare. Who's the most famous convert? Yeah, it's up there. It's a reading text. St. Paul. St. Paul. And when somebody gets converted, their personality changes. And from a psychological perspective, there is something going on. The God virus is literally modifying their brain. There's new pathways being developed inside the brain. Just like the Toxoplasmic gondii reorganizes the rat brain, religion reorganizes the new convert's brain. And in doing that, it says, let's change the way you talk, the way you express yourself. Let's shut off your curiosity about certain things over here. We wouldn't want you questioning this faith, because once you got infected, we don't want you to get uninfected. We certainly don't want you to get infected by some other God virus. We got to kind of build a wall around you. So you'll see cadence changes. You'll see verbal changes. You'll see word changes. You'll see friendship changes. You'll see social changes. All these things happen when somebody gets converted to a new religion, or to religion at any time. You'll see social patterns change. You'll see them cut themselves off from certain family members. Although there's things that get themselves cut off, like my friend did. We had a great friendship until he got Jesus. And so the God virus in him was intentionally pushing me away. I didn't leave voluntarily. I wanted to continue the relationship, but it was continually pushing me away. It's designed to do that. That's how, in a plural society like ours, people could stay so completely infected with religion because it keeps people away from them. Those that are infected keep others away from them who might challenge that belief structure. So let's look at infection channels. We're going to talk about major infection channels here. We'll go through a bunch of them. I don't have time for all of them tonight. But the first one is hypnosis. I'll come back to that. Stress, we've already talked about stress a bit. The next one is guilt. We're going to talk a lot about guilt because it has such power to infect people and keep them infected. Next, we'll talk about social needs. Many of you came here tonight to hear me, but some of you came because your friends invited you. Some of you came because you wanted to talk to your friends. You didn't want to talk to me or see me, which is fine. I'm not insulted. You want and have social needs to be met. We're humans. We're primates. Trouble is, when you go to a religion, they're going to get your social needs met, but you've got to get infected with a God virus. If you're an atheist and you go to church, they have this big sign out front that says everybody's welcome. We'll just spend about 4 weeks there asking your stupid questions about people raising from the dead and walking on waters. About 4 weeks and they will start inviting you to leave. If they don't do it explicitly, they will do it through their behavior. You won't get invited to the church socials anymore, even if you bring the best dish. So that's what social needs do.